The Moose test was developed by the Swedish automotive magazine Teknikens. This test is designed to measure a car's ability to handle turns and its resistance to rolling over. The test's name comes from a scenario that mimics moose, which are common in Sweden, suddenly appearing on the road. The test simulates avoiding an obstacle on the road by maneuvering through a series of cones. The Moose test is used to evaluate the road handling and safety of cars. However, many new cars fail this test, and some even roll over. This might make us think that the road handling and safety of vehicles are getting worse. But in reality, this test aims to push the limits of vehicles to reveal potential safety risks. The test is conducted on a dry surface with the car fully loaded with people and luggage to simulate the worst-case scenario. The test is quite aggressive in terms of turning. Most cars complete the test at speeds between 40 and 50 meters. Based on experience, this speed may not seem very high, but the turns are extremely tight. You need to turn the steering wheel a lot and then quickly turn it back the other way. This scenario may not happen often on the road, but it certainly can. There could be a rapid change in direction. The sharp turns and heavy load push the cars to their limits. The cars go through several tests, and the speed is gradually increased until they fail the test. To pass the test, you need to complete it at a speed of 43 miles per hour or higher without hitting the cones or rolling over. Now, let's look at the 10 cars that failed the Moose test and the reasons behind their failures. The Mercedes A-Class is famous worldwide, not just for failing the test, but for failing dramatically. The A-Class has a long body combined with a short wheelbase design. While this is great for passenger space, it makes the center of gravity very high. This means the car is prone to rolling over in sharp turns. A higher center of gravity creates a lever effect. The higher the center of gravity, the longer the lever, and the easier it is for the car to roll over. Mercedes initially denied the problem, but eventually admitted there was a significant issue and recalled all A-Class models sold. The recall was not cheap and cost Mercedes a staggering $250 million. The Toyota Hilux failed the test when it reached the mandatory speed of 43 miles per hour and rolled over. You might argue that the Hilux, being an off-road pickup, shouldn't be subjected to such tests. However, all vehicles on the road need to have their turning abilities tested because any of them might need to avoid hitting a pedestrian stepping onto the road. The Hilux has several disadvantages in this test. It can carry much more load than other cars, making it incredibly heavy during the test. Additionally, it has a high ride height, which doesn't help when taking turns quickly, and its suspension is very soft to support traction in mud, which doesn't help either. The real issue with the Hilux is that the front has too much grip and the rear doesn't have an adequate solution. A stiffer rear sway bar could have been added, but it would have affected the truck's off-road capability. The 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee failed the test, and its tires came off the rims. This shows that the vehicle's turning ability was pushed to its limits, creating safety risks. The Jeep Grand Cherokee was tested in 2012, and during the maneuver, its tire burst. Jeep engineers came and checked the vehicle's software. It seems they thought the test center had altered the vehicle's software. The test was repeated 3 times, and each time, the tires burst again. After these results, the test center made a statement. We haven't seen such dangerous behavior since the 1997 Mercedes A-Class. For your safety and your families, do not buy the Cherokee. It seems the Jeep engineers really upset the team. Porsche failed the test due to an issue with the braking system. The weight at the front of the car can help reduce understeer in heavier cars, but this is a test that pushes cars to their limits. In 2014, the Porsche Macan was tested. During the maneuver, the front wheels locked up and the car behaved strangely. The test team couldn't even make sense of this behavior. Both cars are hybrid versions of internal combustion engine platforms. So, they essentially placed a large battery in the trunk of a car not designed to have a battery in the trunk. Both cars continued to lose rear grip, causing them to fail the test. This means the car couldn't reach 43 miles per hour without skidding. The reason is that the batteries placed at the rear of the car make it difficult to handle in turns. This means that when the car turns, the weight at the rear causes the car to spin. In 2020, the hybrid Volkswagen Passat was tested. At 72 kilometers per hour, The rear of the car skidded excessively, making it difficult to recover. The Skoda Superb performed similarly. According to the test center, this result was quite poor. Despite its excellent performance on the track, the BMW M3 failed the Moose test with its rear skidding. This shows that even cars with excellent road handling can struggle in this test. One of the most surprising test results was with the BMW M4. The car changed direction well, but the rear skidded. Actually, the BMW M4 is a sports car with very good road handling. After this result, many people started criticizing the Moose test. Good road handling doesn't necessarily mean the car will pass the Moose test. This leaves a question mark in people's minds. In 2010, during a test in England, the commercial vehicle Citroën Nemo rolled over. Again, this was due to the short wheelbase and high center of gravity. The Citroën Nemo failed the test and rolled over. This shows that the vehicle's turning ability was pushed to its limits, creating safety risks that in 2021, the Ford Mustang Mach-E failed the Moose test. Again, poor ESP was the cause. The Ford Mustang Mach-E failed the test and skidded with its rear. This shows that the vehicle's turning ability was pushed to its limits, creating safety risks. TO show the importance of this. The test team tested the Nissan Qashqai, which is almost the same size and weight as the Toyota RAV4. The speed was 84 kilometers per hour. The Qashqai performed very well thanks to its advanced ESP system. The Nissan Qashqai passed the test and was able to maneuver stably. This shows that the vehicle's turning ability was pushed to its limits, creating safety risks. The Sorento also performed well thanks to its advanced ESP system. Here, our blonde friend says you need to focus more on ESP, giving Toyota a bit of a hard time. The Kia Sorento passed the test and was able to maneuver stably. This shows that the vehicle's turning ability was pushed to its limits, creating safety risks. The Moose test is an important tool for measuring a vehicle's ability to handle turns and its resistance to rolling over. The test helps car manufacturers improve their vehicles and reveals potential safety risks. However, there are also criticisms that the test does not fully reflect real-world conditions. One of the cars that performed very well in the test is the Tesla Model X. Despite being an SUV, the Model X has a much lower center of gravity compared to SUVs with internal combustion engines due to the batteries in the floor. This allows the car to perform very well. In fact, the Model X's center of gravity is so low that the car almost refuses to roll over. Now, let's look at the most successful car of all time in the Moose test. The winner is the 1999 family car Citroën Xantia. The car was able to pass the test successfully even at 85 kilometers per hour. This is thanks to the car's computer-controlled active suspension system. The hydraulic suspension in the suspension can change its stiffness instantly. Citroën first used this hydraulic suspension in the Citroën DS in 1955. In normal suspensions, during turns, the load shifts to the outer wheels while the load on the inner wheels decreases. In Citroën's active system, the load on the wheels is balanced. This allows the car to remain stable during sudden maneuvers. Mercedes initially denied the problem and later admitted it, recalling thousands of cars. Engineers fixed the issue by adding electronic stability control, ESP, and revising the suspension. This problem cost the company $250 million. The Moose test is an important tool for measuring a vehicle's ability to handle turns and its resistance to rolling over. The test helps car manufacturers improve their vehicles and reveals potential safety risks. However, there are also criticisms that the test does not fully reflect real-world conditions. In the future, more tests and developments are needed to increase vehicle safety. The Moose test is just one of these tests, and more tests and developments are needed to increase vehicle safety. Today, we talked about the 10 cars that failed the Moose test and the reasons behind their failures. We hope this video was interesting and informative for you. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Goodbye.